go over the review, and if you know how to do everything on here by yourself, you'll do fine on the test. The test will not be easier or harder than this, but it requires you to be honest and make sure you can do it by yourself. First things first, what's the slope of this line? That slope is undefined. Why is it undefined? Okay. So if you're to calculate the slope here, the rise would be whatever, like 1, 2, 3, right? But the run would be 0, and you cannot divide by 0 in mathematics. You cannot divide by 0, that's undefined. So that's why it's undefined. Notice how no matter what point I pick, whether it's -4 over 0 or 3 over 0, they all come out to undefined. Okay. What is the equation of this line? So most lines come out to y equals mx plus b, right? What is the equation of this line with an undefined slope? Obviously, we can't put in undefined times x, so it's a little bit different. There's no y-intercept, it doesn't cross the y-axis. There's undefined slope, so the equation for this was slightly different. The only thing that we know is that it goes through x equals -2. There's 0, -1, -2. So the equation of that line is x equals -2. So this is like the one that's kind of different from all the others. Undefined slope, it doesn't start with y equals, there is no y-intercept. So the equation is x equals. The others are a little more behaved. So here we have a slope of 0, because if you pick any 2 points, like these two, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the rise is 0, so it's 0 over 6, so that equals 0. Slope is equal to 0. The y-intercept is 1, 2, down 2, -2. So it's y equals 0x minus 2, but you can leave off the 0x because 0 times x is 0. So we have y equals -2.
So the slope is just here.
Slope is 0. And remember not to confuse undefined slope, or also known as a no slope, with the 0 slope. Sometimes we think I have no money, I have 0 money. That's the same thing. Mathematically, these are different. Having a slope and it's 0, and not having a slope at all, different. All right, here, slope. These are more standard, rise over run. Is this positive or negative? Positive, right? And number 4, is that positive or negative?
Negative.
Negative. I always suggest writing the sign first, right? That way you'll never have to worry about that. It's just, this is going uphill, positive. This is going downhill, left to right, negative. That's all. So what is the rise of 1? Right, 3. So the slope is positive 1/3. Here we have to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and right 1. So slope is just -6. Notice how I can drop the 1. What is the equation? Okay, what's the slope? The y-intercept here is 0, goes to the origin. So this equation is y equals just 1/3 x. That's it. You don't have to put plus 0. Although that is the y-intercept. You can just put y equals 1/3 x. Over here, you can't really see where it's going to cross the y-axis. So what's your other alternative if you don't know, if you can't physically see where it crosses the y-axis to get the y-intercept? That was the other equation we have. Pick a point. What is this point? 1, 2, 3, was that 3? 3, 3, is that what that is right there? Yes or no?
Yeah.
That's 3, 3? Okay. So what you can do, if you can't see the y-intercept, well, we do have a point. you can use point slope. Y minus 3 equals negative 6, x minus 3. So here's what you do. You can't see the y-intercept, but you still need to write its slope-intercept form. And then if we go ahead and solve this, negative 6x plus 18, add 3 to both sides. And that looks about right. Y equals negative 6x plus 21. That means if we continue this up here, continue this up here, that line would eventually go through at y-intercept of 21. So it's one of those things, this kind of question really lets me know what you understand about graphing. Because there's some people that will raise their hand and say, but it doesn't go through the y-axis, so I don't know what the slope, I don't know what the y-intercept is. So there's other tools besides just looking at a graph. All right, good. Let's talk a little about some routine formulas. Always suggest starting this without a graph. If you don't have a graph, start it like this. Parentheses, minus parentheses, parentheses, minus parentheses. And then fill in the numbers. What goes on top? Y's or X's? Y's are the rise. Rise over run, Y's are the rise. Alright, so 13, there's our Y's. 13 and 11. Negative 3 and negative 15 are the X's. Over here, Y's are the rise. Negative 3 and 20. Negative 8, negative 5. That's the hardest step right there. Plugging stuff in correctly. After that, pretty straightforward as long as you don't mess up on negatives. So like here, double negative plus. That's the only one. Okay, so 13 minus 11. Negative 3 plus 15, or 15 minus 3. 12, which equals 1/6. Do you have to reduce it? Yes, absolutely. Negative 3 and negative 20. It's negative 23 over negative 13, which equals positive 23 over 13. Two negatives, positive. Okay. So let's keep going. Have you guys help me out a little bit. Your name comes up here. Just answer the question. All right. So Joseph, what is the slope of this line?
-1.
And how should I write that?
M equals -1.
Sum equals -1. And of course that came from right in front here. Good. Next one. Number 8. What's number 8? Very good. 2 or 3. So what's in slope-intercept form? It's just what's the number in the front. Okay. Good. Keep going. What is the line parallel to this one? Remember, we're talking about slopes, right? So what slope is parallel to that one? Close. that's perpendicular, but parallel. We want parallel on this one. Yeah, it's the same. So remember, parallel lines, two parallel lines, if they're side by side and never touch, that means they don't touch because they go up and over the same amount. They're both going up 3 over 2. They never get closer or further away from each other. Same thing with 10, negative 9 over 2. All right. Now for the perpendicular. For the perpendicular slope. Perpendicular to negative 5, negative 5 over 2 is just, yeah, positive 2 over 5. Good. And the next one?
Negative 3 over 8.
Negative 3 over 8. This will come in handy the very last page. Okay. That comes in handy the very last page. So let's do those. Let's skip to 25. So here, what is the slope here? This parallel? What is the slope?
What's the slope? That's not me.
What is the slope? Let's try this. Same person.
Negative 1.
Negative 1. So now we have a point and a slope. Y plus 3, remember the signs are different, y, equals negative 1, x minus 4. Is this finished? Finish it up. Negative x minus 4? Yeah?
No.
No. Plus 4. Negative times a negative? Positive. Good. Minus 3, minus 3. Now you're finished up. Same thing here. We got a negative 1/5 slope. Parallel would be negative 1/5. Plug it in and solve. Y minus 2 equals what? 105. There you go, just like that. And solve, like you can solve. Let's look at the next two after that too. So here, we just did right here, find the parallel slope, find the perpendicular slope, is directly used on those last 4 problems. So here, what is the perpendicular slope?
3 over 5.
Not 3 over 5.
Negative
Negative 3. So you do the opposite, which makes it a negative, positive to negative, and reciprocal. Another way of looking at it is that these two multiply to negative 1. You multiply them together. So we have y plus 5 equals negative 3/5 minus 5. So remember, these are the opposite signs. So minus, positive, positive, minus. And then of course distribute and finish it up. Y plus 5. Negative 3/5 x. What is negative 3/5 times negative 5? 3, somebody said. That's how fast that should be. Hopefully you see that the 5's cancel. The negative times a negative makes a positive. You do not want to say, well, there's a fraction, so that's more difficult.
Here's John.
It's going to be, okay, yeah.
Where do you get the 5 between 1 plus 5? Where do you get that 11?
Alright. X.
So the one on the right always starts it off. The Y.
Yeah, the Y always starts it off.
Okay.
Good. Okay, next person. What is the perpendicular slope here? That's perpendicular to this?
Positive. I'm putting negative.
Okay, well, everybody else is telling you it's positive 2 over 3. So flip it, change the sign. Alright. Okay. Here you go. Number 13. If the slope is 0, what it means it doesn't go higher or lower. When we say the line doesn't go higher or lower, we also mean the y value doesn't go higher or lower. Meaning if you have a graph that looks like this, and this line doesn't go up or down. So the y value that we have here is the same as the y value we have here. So the fact that this is a 0 slope lets you know that if it's at -3 on the y-axis, it's going to stay at -3 on the y-axis. There are other ways of actually calculating these, but I'd rather have you solve it this way. Just understand that if it's 0, the y does not go up or down. The y does not increase or decrease. It stays the same. Here, if you have an undefined slope, again, what kind of line is that? Undefined slope. Straight vertical, right? So if that means the x values don't change, right? This doesn't move left or right at all. So if this is the x value here, -7, it's going to be the same x value here because it's not changing. So a little more about undefined and 0 slopes. With 0 slope, the y does not change. With undefined slopes, the x does not change. That's why this is x equals -7, because the x values do not change. They're always -7. Same thing over here, the equation for this line would be y equals -3, because the y values were always -3. So the equation for both of these lines up with the points. See how if the points don't change, that's the equation. If the x's are both the same, that's the equation, x equals -7. If the y's don't change, they're both the same number, that's the equation of the line, y equals -3. Alright, and a little bit more below, I don't know, x equals -3, been talking a lot about that, just want to make sure we're good. We all know that's a vertical line. The slope is what? What's the slope of this line? Undefined, UND. What's the slope of this line? What's the rise and what's the run? Number 15. So what is this number here? That's the slope, right? It's -4. Yeah. What's the run? What's the number underneath? 1. -4 is the same as -4 over 1. If it was a 0 run, it would be this. This has 0 run. It'd be a vertical line, but if it was a vertical line, it would start with x equals. So if it starts with y, there's no way you can have a 0 run. That'd have to be a vertical x line, x equals line. So yeah, if there's no denominator, it's automatically 1. What's the y-intercept here? Where does this start? Okay, so now what's the number over here? Add 0. So that starts at 0, and we go down 4, right 1. This is also the same as 4 over negative 1, which means we can go up 4, left 1. Either way, it's on the same straight line. So I notice over the years that people have trouble filling in the missing values. If I just start with y equals 2x, you have to fill in a lot of missing values. You have to know that's 2 over 1, not 2 over 0, 2 over 1. And you have to know the starting point is at 0. It starts at the origin. So the missing value is very important. What about here? Maybe solve for y. One approach. Subtract 6x on both sides. Y equals negative 6x plus 5. What's the run? What's the missing value for the slope? Yeah. So start at 5. Down 6, right 1. There we go. X plus y is 2. A couple ways. This is a little more basic. This is negatives going down. One way of doing this, since there's no multiplication, there's no coefficients here, just pick two numbers that add up to 2. What two numbers add up to 2? What two numbers add up to 2? 1 and 1. So you can pick 1 and 1, right? What other two numbers add up to 2? 0 and 2, yeah, or 2 and 0. So you can see, that makes a line. That's pretty easy, right? We'll verify it though. Yeah, let's subtract x on both sides and we can use our same routine. All right. Does this work? Okay. What's the rise? Negative 1 over 1. Yeah, start at 2. Good. Go down 1 and right 1. Look, it matches up. It all lines up. So either method will give you the same graph. Just like that. Not too bad. You second copy that down if you need to. Almost there. Let's start calling some names again. How about Justin? What's the slope-intercept line form of this line? I'll give you a hint. Starts with y equals. You got that. Alright, I'm going to check the negative 3 first. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3. Very good. That's correct. How about this? Is it for sure a negative slope? That matches the lines going negative. And if you need to, think of it as a 3 over 1, negative 3 over 1. And then, yeah, that works. Down 3, right 1. All right. Okay. Again, we don't have to put the over 1, though. Next.
I got negative 5 over 4
And minus 4 we can see. That's good. Negative 5 over 4. Okay, let's count it. Looks like you're going right here. Down 5, right 4. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Yeah. Now you have to come back like around 7:30 tonight, and
be waiting.
Let's see here. Anything else? Well, I'm still worried about some people and their fractions, just in case. Make sure you're not freaked out about this. 1/4 times 5. 5/4, right? Yeah. So we have y minus 1. Add 1 to both sides. With the screen. There we go. And then you can finish it. What is 5/4 plus 1? 5/4 plus 1.
6/4.
So 5/4, a couple ways of doing this, plus 1. That's the same as 1 and 5/4. And if you convert that to a mixed number, it is
9/4.
9/4. That's one way of doing that. Or you can just think, well, 4 divided by 4 is 1. So 5 plus 4 is 9. That's on video.
Oh,
Wait,
that was on video.
what's on video?
That was Carlos.
I was just saying, I don't know.
That was Carlos.
What's on video?
I'll rat 'em out.
Does that have audio?
Of course it does. All right. The rest I think you guys can finish.